Hello and welcome back to another weekend market analysis video. We are bullish. Look at this, guys. Look at this breakout. Weekly trend line on the spider. We sliced right through it, and we'll go down to some smaller charts and look at this price action and how the breakout occurred. But guys, this is a bullish breakout, and until and unless we get a rejection and start closing daily and then obviously weekly back below that, we should expect to be going higher, right? We have enough room to about 312. We could spike that maybe 315 middle of the week. If we do decide to go very bullish here, that would be my initial thought. Now, I do want to share some stuff with you guys on the daily chart just to be aware of, right? We have a lot of unfilled gaps, which is not good market structure. It doesn't mean that the market can't go up and rally to 315 next week. It absolutely can. It just means it's probably not going to get too far until it comes back and fills those gaps, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. This one didn't actually get filled and make it 5. So there's 5 unfilled. That's a lot of gaps to have open, guys. It's not good market structure. So that's just something just to keep in mind. Just realize, especially if you're a longer term person, this rally might not be one that's going to great new highs, but we can definitely see some solid upside in the next week here, and I think we will. I'm going to go down and actually look at a smaller chart here, and so we can see kind of the action that occurred this week. We got a gap up Monday, and we started holding this range here pretty nicely, and we had some choppy action here. This was Thursday, Halloween. We came down. We made essentially what was a bear flag pattern, and this bear flag pattern is essentially bearish until price closes back above the breakdown candle high at 304.13. If we go down lower here, you can see the little games they played in the last 10 minutes. They decided to run the price back up and close back within this range, right? So that was bullish, right? We got up to this trend line, and guys, look at this trend line. Look at how it acts, right? If you have these trend lines drawn correctly, these things will save your life. These things, they work so well, okay? So definitely look at my trend line video. It's super important that you guys draw these correctly, okay? But anyways, this was a sign, right? And just look at volume, right? Very little volume, right, on the down moves here. It's a bit above average, but it's nothing special. It's no expansion that you really want to see on a breakdown. You want to see this kind of volume here. 7 mil in 10 minutes. You want to see, the start of the day to have huge volume if we're going to be breaking down. And it's actually a bearish move, right? We're at a weekly trend line. This volume should be higher, right? Nevertheless, it was tricky. It looked pretty bearish at the time. This gap was very important, right? I was watching this gap, and I was honestly thinking we were going to slice right through it. But at the end of the day here, this is something we have to take as bullish. And then obviously we got the gap. Look at that, perfect above the trend line. Comes back and taps it and goes on to close the week in a very bullish manner. So there you have it. Let's move on to some indices. Let's look at the IWM. We'll see here also broken trend lines, bullish, right? What is this? What did I say last week? Bull flag pattern, right? We have an up move and we have consolidation. The problem with this is it's very long and hasn't, breached this important area here at 160, right? these trend line breaks, it is bullish, but I really need to see the IWM above this zone, right, in order to really get bullish. Then we can come up here and test, 170 area. So I'll be watching if IWM can be breaking above this zone. It may stagnate a little bit. We'll have to keep an eye on it. If we do bust right through that zone, super, super bullish, guys. Let's look at the financials. Financials closed the week strong above this very important pivot here. This thing has room, man. It's got room. We have the next weekly resistance point, up here. The major one is 29.73. We are in this wedgish pattern. It's nothing that we can't break out of, right? We're in an uptrend. We're breaking pivot highs. There's nothing that says we cannot bust right through that and start going for the all-time highs, right? There's nothing that says that can't happen. You have to take this for what it is. If financials are strong, the market is strong, okay? So this is bullish, guys. Until and unless we get a sign and a signal that the XLF is reversing at that trend line, we have to take it as bullish, and we are going to see higher prices, okay? Transportation average. This was an interesting one. I was watching this all week because this looked a little bit different than the other markets. This kind of had its very bullish run. It was leading the market for the past 3 weeks. And this week, we got to this all-important red top of this breakdown candle. That has been the big struggle for the transportation average. And, we saw quite a bit of downside. But if you look on the daily here, right, I had this zone marked, and I was looking, how is the transports going to react at this former breakdown candle high? We struggled to get through it. Finally, you see we close above it, and off she goes. So we know that that's an important price area. These are always going to be important, even after they're broken. They can be very important. If we were to get back below that, that's very bad news, right? Especially below this zone here, very bad news, right? We're probably going for this gap. So this is bullish, guys. And I mean, look at the weekly trend line, right? On the last day, we come up to finish right above and stay above. So this is bullish, guys. We have another trend line. We have the red zone, but from my point of view, the transports are looking to break straight through that red zone and head up to the next breakdown candle high at 11,200. All right. So we'll be watching. I'll definitely be watching this closely because this has the most potential to fail in my eyes at the moment. But that's a bullish weekly candle, guys. That's something that wants to go higher. So until we get another sign, transports are going higher. Okay. SMH, man, I called this breakout last week. I said, until and unless we're back below that trend line, this thing is going up, right? This is a great proxy for tech. And, as we saw earnings last week, Apple, Facebook killed it on Friday. Just very, very bullish. Everything's looking bullish, guys. SMH going to continue up until it's not, guys. I will update if I think we get a sign or a signal of a trend change. But, for right now, the SMH looks very strong. It's leading this market to the upside. And you don't want to fight tech, guys. So play the trend, okay? I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my top picks for this week now. There are some good looking picks, okay, guys? There's a lot of stuff that has potential for this next week. So it was a little bit difficult for me to narrow them down. But I think I've got my favorites. And the first one is going to be AMD. Okay. AMD, broke this resistance at 34.19, guys. Weekly close. We've now broken that. Okay. Now the only thing I want to watch out for here is possibly a trend line here. Right, look at that. We've broken that as well, guys. Okay, this is huge on AMD. And if we go down to a smaller chart here, you can actually see, it's just bull flagging, right? This thing is ready to make a push higher, 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 higher. I think AMD can absolutely lead the market if we're going to rally up to 315 this week. AMD can easily see new all-time highs. Look for a breakout of this range and a breakout of the all-time highs with expanding volume next week. I will definitely be on that train, and hopefully you will be too. Next up, Beyond Meat. Reported earnings, terrible reaction, right? Terrible reaction to earnings. Excuse me. Yeah. So you can see here fibs from the open IPO price, or the low, excuse me, up to the highs. Crazy rally. Pulled to Tilray, and now it's down, right? It's not looking good. Just look at these important fibs. We came to the 50. What did we bounce? 5%. 7%, something. We couldn't get anywhere, right? Bear flag, finally broke, sliced right through the 61. So I have a few levels here. I'm looking for a continued downside. As you can see, we're close to breaking this pivot low here at 80.1. And I've thrown up a couple other important numbers here. We've got a gap that's unfilled at 69.5. And then, guys, after that, a lot of IPOs, their biggest, most magnetic level, especially when something is this parabolic, it's going back to the opening IPO price, which is $46, I believe. Yes, $46. So I'm not saying it's going to get there next week, but look for continued downside and beyond. High volume. This thing is not even getting close to filling its gap. This thing is weak, guys. So look to short this under 80.1. It does have some other levels here, but 69.5 would be a good target for sometime next week. On to the last, another bullish pick, Microsoft. I've been waiting for this one for a long time, guys. And we've gotten it, right? We have gotten it. The break. We had the level here, 141.50, whatever it was. And there you go. Nice break up. And what do we have here? It's essentially a bull flag. It's a high base pattern. Just because it hasn't gone up doesn't mean it's bearish. This is not bearish, guys. So if the market is going to continue up, look for more upside in Microsoft. I'm going to take you down to a smaller chart. You can see this is really it's a bull flag, right? It's sideways. As long as we're holding this low here, I really like Microsoft. And you can actually see, I think I drew these on an hourly. Yes. So yeah, you can actually see on Microsoft here, we broke, right? Might not be drawn perfectly there, but let me try to draw this perfectly for you guys. Yeah, okay, so it might not be broken yet on the hourly, but this is still a great setup as long as we're holding this level here. If you want to wait, it looks like 144.63, 145 area has been very tough. So I'd definitely be looking to long Microsoft above that. As you guys can see on a daily chart, we have a lot of room to our next trend line resistance there. let's see if there's, that's interesting. Let's see how we've been dealing with that. All right, we dealt with it pretty well. Look at that. All right, we have day above, we have a day close, and then look at it being support. Closes right on it, guys. Right on it. That's not a mistake, right? When you draw trend lines correctly, that is what happens, right? Closes right on it, and now is holding it 2 days in a row, right? This trend line here. Look at it fighting that trend line, right? Under, above, and it's now closed 2 days back above. Definitely look to long Microsoft, especially over 145, guys. That's going to be it for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys make some money on these picks. Hope the market keeps going up so we can take advantage of these good long opportunities. If you liked the video, please share it with anyone you think could find this information useful. And please subscribe and like the video. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next week. Have a good one.